Thank you very much for your time today. We will not make this painful. It's lunchtime, so the last thing we want to do is delay that. Before we go any further, my name's Custodio. I look after a small consultancy company out of Austria. The wrong accent, I know. Portuguese, born in London, been in the industry for just over 25 years. The main thing here today, what we want to do is, everyone's talking about guest experience, but how can we join it? We've got a dear friend, James, obviously, with golden keys in his lapel, Sarah from Morrisco and Andreas from Planet. We really want to make sure is to give you an idea on how we can put the guest at the forefront. Employee journey, though. How can departments speak, connect, and drive this? This time of the year is not just about guest experience, though, in my opinion. We forget about the end users. End users, employees. These people are sacrificing time. A lot of family time, some of them doing 2-3 jobs, working in departments, extra hours to make everything happen. The wonderful coffee, the wonderful treats, as we are enjoying here today. But one of the key things that I would like to do before the panelists introduce themselves is for us to really take a moment and think about those hoteliers, not the general managers, not the heads of departments, not the operators, sorry, Sarah, but the guys who make everything happen for us. Because we take advantage of this, we take our families away, but what they are doing in the background. But in the meantime, as we think of that, I'd like the team to introduce themselves, because I call them team because we are here as a team today. We're going to start with you, Sarah.
I'm Sarah, Group Revenue Director for Stockholm Hotels Management. And one of my big projects is data quality, data input, and link that together with the operational team to make them understand the purpose of data. I don't think we always explain that, so I'll talk a bit about that today.
No, that's be brilliant. James.
Well, yeah, I'm James from Novus Hotel Stockholm. I'm the head concierge, a Claydor concierge, and also the operations manager as well.
Yeah, and I'm Andreas. I'm from Planet as a strategic account manager, working with our solutions. Planet provides integrated payment solution into our own PMS and other PMSs as well. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So everyone talks about guest experience, but what can we do to make it seamless? Starting with you, Sarah, obviously you touched on a key point that at the moment everyone is talking data, data, data. We won't talk AI because everyone else talks about AI, but we can.
We can talk a little bit about it, but yeah, data.
Data. Obviously, we discussed it a moment ago outside the roles you've had, the different groups you've worked with, even as a consultant, in fact. How have you seen the change in the importance of data in delivering what everyone in our industry now wants to deliver, this seamless guest experience?
I think one of the big things is that a long time ago I was in operations, but no one explained to me why I need to put certain data in. And if you don't know the background, you just skip it, because why? It takes time. I want to check in a guest. So we try to involve them and explain to them that by putting the right data in, we can then use that data to market, or the whole cycle of forecasting, staffing, help them. So it's a whole circle of getting it right, and they are a very key important part of that. It's not just revenue or commercial team, it's actually operations, and they can use it for guest experience.
I'm going to touch base with James on his Claydor. Obviously, Claydor are the first people to see the guest and the last person to see the guest, because the Claydor is not just a desk. We're talking doorman, luggage porters, everyone else attached. It's been a unique kind of group from the outside perspective, but technology has been playing a big, big part in your role in the last few, and I did a little bit of research before today's panel. How are you seeing the data aspect coming in now to the Claydor environment, which is very much still a traditional, how can you say, society, in fact?
It's interesting you talk about that. I mean, data is really important. When you have all the notes in someone's profile, like making a profile, building a profile, how many stays, how much they're spending, checking the history. There's a lot of information that one can actually access. And if you think about it and look and see, then you can actually do something with it. I mean, for being a concierge, a lot of the times, and at a 5-star property, you have some really high rollers, you have some people that surprise you, and I mean, for the most part, you can almost target yourself toward certain people when they have a big spend, and if they're consistently coming back and they want to do things, then you can almost throw out some random, like, well, would you like to try to, go on a boat tour that costs like 5,000 krona an hour? And sometimes, yeah, why not? I had a regular last year who always comes business, and he stays in our suites. And I said, well, I always deal with his agent, and I said, Taylor's coming to town. You think he'd want to go? And like, he wouldn't normally do that, but I can ask. And he's like, yeah, he wants 4 tickets. I was like, okay, well, it was something fun at least to try.
Brilliant. Andreas, going on to payment, obviously the importance of payment data on the guest experience is, everyone talks about payment, the different ways of payment, and obviously there's digital payments becoming more and more complex nowadays. How are you seeing in your own, let's say, remit, I would say, or expertise, the importance of payment data driving that guest experience forward and that knowledge of that data onto the other areas of the operations as well?
Payments is very complex, especially for an hotel that have different kind of like entry channels. You have online payments, you have like channel managers, you have the OTAs with all the virtual cards, and then you also would like to secure the payment for the guest to stop all the no-shows or try to charge for the no-shows. So that's a big thing for us, to try to simplify the payment. So you can use one provider for the online booking, for the kiosk, if you're checking into that, to take a pre-authorization and store the card securely. And then most important of all is actually to build on that security, because we see more and more frauds out there, especially online. You see every year it increases, and we need to build a stronger security around that all the time. So, yeah. But it's a really interesting journey. It's finally we can offer like an omni-channel payment solution for our hoteliers.
Sarah, I'm going to swap this a little bit when it comes in. Festive season, we just talked a moment ago about traditions over here. Obviously, you've lived in a vast number of countries, but within investing back onto the group, and how do you address, I can say, the staff and getting them engaged onto that? You've got this amount of data at the moment. Let's use it from a commercial point of view to maximize during this festive season. What are exactly the steps or the best practices that you'd say would be?
Incentives. Give them incentives. That's what works. Upselling. No, but it does work though, actually. Reward them, but involve them. Communication. Like if we talk about doing a festive package, and when commercial team comes together, we have these grand ideas, but we actually might not involve operation on time to see if this is actually possible to do in a good way to meet the client, to like do the best for the guests, because we need to involve them, because they actually know so much more, and we sit there and plan things, and it doesn't go as we think because we haven't involved them. So involve them early on these.
So collaboration and get them involved.
Absolutely, communication, collaboration, and align early, because I don't know, but I always start very late. You plan, you do your budget, and you're supposed to start in summertime to plan the Christmas, but here we are, October, and it's a bit of panic, and you forget about operations. But I don't know, maybe someone's better than me on that.
Talking about collaboration, James, I know a little bit about the network. Obviously, we've known each other for a little while. My father's a concierge. His team was not just his hotel team. It was the people on his WhatsApp. Collaboration with your team members of the Clay Door. I would really like to deep dive a little bit for the audience, because some of them don't know the extent of what you guys do as a unit, as a global unit. Especially this time of year, I can only imagine how many WhatsApps you're getting thrown in right, left, and center. But if we could literally, just any stories, anything that you could share with everyone here today on how the Clay Door works as a team and collaborates, not just from your own property, your own team, but universally.
Right. Well, with Le Clay Door, you have a minimum number of years. It's 5 in front of house, and you need to do a couple of years as a concierge. So you need to still have the concierge as a minimum few years, and then front of house as well. But once you become a member and you have, you get to go out to some congresses or going to a new city. I was actually in Prague on the weekend, and my girlfriend, who happens to also be a concierge as well, we were walking to a boat trip that our other friend, who's the president of Prague, she fixed some tickets for us, and we walked past Fairmont. And we were like, okay, well, let's go in and use the washroom, and then we can go and see, you know, see if they have a key. And there was one key working, and, you know, it was just like meeting someone, and it's like a nice way to break the ice because you're not really a guest, you're like a friend. And, you know, with being, you know, service and friendship, that's the motto that we have. We all try to help each other out. So just jumping back, like, you know, you'll be working and then you get a text, like, or even email, like, hi, you don't know me, but I'm the Claydor in this city. I have a guest coming to your town, staying with you in 2 days. They want this, this, and this. Can you fix that? Or can you take over a conversation and, you know, maybe do an introduction? Or, you know, can you write a amenity card for me and you and put it in the room? And then they at least come downstairs after they've checked in. It's like, oh, are you James? Yeah, I met, you know, this person here, and he said, you know, you'll look after me. And they at least feel like a closer bond. And then, you know, also, if I need to buy tickets in a city that I don't know anybody in, I can trust this one person to give them my credit card, and they will buy a service for the guest that is going there, or they need something from that city, and I'm not going to worry that I'm going to get ripped off, or like it's not going to happen, because it will be done.
So the kind of above technology connectivity, the human connectivity between yourselves.
Yes, and trust is.
I feel I need to change. Like you, I think I get good rates, but you get everything else very good. So maybe I need to change to a concierge.
Well, or at least have some friends that are.
Well,
and then,
here we are.
It is Piff's advice. I said this is I'm now 50, but from the age of 14, I grew up in a concierge running for my dad and getting tickets from one theatre to the other. It is a wonderful world to be connected with, to do so, above and below technology. But going on to the technology, how does Planet, let's say, or this time of year, you have possibly a huge amount of preparation and a huge volume of data coming in that you guys have to deal with for your clients. Is there any special preparations that you're working on with your clients at the moment, pre-festive season, to ensure that everything runs as smoothly, let's say, prepared for as best as possible?
What we try to do is to predict those kind of kind of periods, you know. So we make sure that we have the capacity on our service centers to handle so many transactions, because it's millions of transactions all the time, so it could break, you know. So we have to really make sure to have a stable connection. So what we did, actually what we've been working with for 2 years now, is going from 10 different data centers around the world to only 4, just to build it out to be more secure and more stable for the future as well.
Perfect. So we've seen, obviously, commercial preparation, get the teams engaged, collaboration across borders, and the technology preparation where you're condensing some of your data centers. Now, from you guys, we do have to talk about AI, because your guests are going to come armed with ChatGPTs, Perplexities, and some wonderful tools. I see some people smiling here in the audience. I can see they're going to hit me for AI as soon as I walk out of here today. But the guests are more armed nowadays with information overload. And I'm talking about my 77-year-old mother who asks me about this stuff, not my 21-year-old son. How are you coping with these guests walking into your lobbies? And what are you doing? Sorry, sir, I know you're going to walk out of here any moment and go on your flight, but
I don't meet them that much in the lobby.
Orascom is a wonderful mixed group of properties. How are you guys preparing your teams to be ready for these guests when they walk into your lobbies? Because those are the ones you're going to deliver that seamless guest experience to.
Well, it is communication again. I mean, to get, like, even when they plan their journey, that we have the same message through the whole company, and I guess AI can help us actually have that kind of, so whatever a concierge communicates should have been able to communicate the same information, not giving mixed messages, and that's obviously AI can support on streamlining things and all of that. But yeah.
Communication. Hard.
Communication, yeah.
I'm going to go to James, because I spent, as you know, when we last connected, I was on a project with the Claydor on an education on information technology and AI. How are you seeing the role of the traditional concierge? Because we've had the digital concierge, we've had words about concierge on other panels today, but how is the Claydor adopting the new technology? Because as much as not just the messaging, but you guys, how you guys are embracing the new world, so to speak, as an entity?
I think it differs with properties and how the guests and the tools that they have interact with each other. I know that a few of them. There was one story I think from like 2 years ago in Bali. It was a hotel in India, and they were not very good at writing in English, but they would write this message out, trying to sell a tour, upselling a tour, and after they put it through, just like AI, can you rewrite this into a really bit more formal and fun English version of what I'm trying to say? Can you do it? And they did it, and the guests really was like, okay, I want to do this tour. And they said it was like a 300%, increase in the sales of this tour, and they like it. I mean, in general, we are like more advisors than giving, because you still need to help the guests when they have questions and what are the top few restaurants that I have. But now they're coming, like, we have these 6 restaurants. What do you think of them? And I can easily just say, well, these 2, yes, those 2, maybe, you should change those 2. And they will just cancel them on the spot and listen to you because you still are helping them out.
Brilliant. Andreas, obviously Planet does talk a lot about AI, especially when it comes to a lot of data analytics. How are you finding the industry adopting what you guys are putting out there as technology when it comes into the new technology? How are you finding positive, negative, neutral?
No, for us it's very, very positive, especially on the PMS side of the business, because if we can, so I think a huge problem with the guest data is that you have so many duplicates. So if we can use AI to merge those profiles to be more qualified data inside the PMS systems, I think that will be very, very beneficial for all types of hotels and hotel groups. So that's something that we work on really, really hard to have that kind of merge.
Perfect. We've had data, we've had experience, communications, and so on. When it comes into guest experience, leave it behind for a moment. The employee journey. How much as groups, are you guys seeing the change of the need to educate? And I know everyone's possibly going to say a lot, but realistically, cards on the table, no RSCOM, no anything. The need for our industry to dedicate more into the employee journey itself, to support that guest experience, to support all of this that we talked about, from communication, AI, data, and so on. How are you finding the industry adopting new practices to really get people into our industry?
Ooh, I have to think for a second on this one. Well, talking about AI, I mean, we noticed just interviewing is very different today. I don't know if any one of you check, but people do have like a chat that answering all the questions, and we used to send out tests and stuff, and it is a challenge for sure, but still meeting people in person gives you a good thing. So the human interaction is still very important. Not sure if that answers your question though, but
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
That's what you get.
It's near lunchtime. That's all you're getting. James, you mentioned something very key, which I've always admired in Clay Door, is that you guys do tend to visit other properties, see where the keys are, and so on. Are you seeing other departments adopting those practices as well within? Because you also look after front office, so not just the desk. Do you motivate others? Do you see within a group? Because obviously you've recently supported a team member open a hotel in another country, for that matter.
I think there's a lot with the staff where you need to kind of get them motivated, because I think it is more the individual who is more interested. Like, I will go and seek out hotels. If it's not to meet people, then I want to go and see the rooms. And it's nice to sort of steal ideas, and new hotel that opens in town. Like, I am usually contacting them within the first few weeks and wanting to see how it is, and ask who wants to come with me, like from the hotel, and maybe someone in reception will come. Definitely with the heads of departments, majority of them want to go, and we always make an outing and just like check it out. Okay, let's grab a drink in the bar and just see what we can do. But with the staff, I think it's it's a little bit tricky and more challenging to try to get people to want to see different things. But also it's kind of fun when you're not hyping it up, but at least when you come back and you've seen something, I show them pictures of things and tell them how they, oh, I've seen this is done at this place, maybe that's something we need to think about, in the future.
Perfect. I'm going to come to address you on one point, is the educational piece. I know that as a supplier, obviously you've got two hoteliers. By no means we've split it this way for any reason at all, guys, but the educational piece of the suppliers, how you finding, as a supplier to the industry, how educating your prospects, your current clients, as a challenge or not as a challenge with your products? Because you do not just payments, obviously we've got a huge portfolio of products at the moment.
I didn't really understand the question here.
And let me try and rephrase it. We suffer at the moment from, I would say, and correct, if anyone disagrees, please feel free. This is a conversation more than anything. A supplier is a tough job because you're not only providing one product that's going to be used in the industry, but how do they use it? How do they use the best features? How do they maximize that product to be sticky in the industry? And how you finding not just your product, but your level of services to the industry. So educating the industry of here we are as Planet, how we are as Protel, part of the bigger group.
Yeah, that's a super important work for us as a supplier, because first of all we need to listen to our clients, the hoteliers. What kind of system do they need? What kind of information do they need? But then we also need to make sure that they actually use it, because we put a lot of money, a lot of effort into the systems. So what we try to do is to build out a customer success team that can work strategically with our accounts to actually make them grow together with us, so we can get the live inputs, because we are creating system for the hoteliers,
Perfect. I've only got two questions left for the team, and obviously I want you guys to go for lunch and never enough time for lunch, and we're trying to run on time at the moment. Just before last, the future. We talked about all the different elements. We've been unwrapping different packs of what guest experience, in my opinion and our opinion, is as an industry, bringing it together. Sarah, you deal with a multitude of properties. You deal with a very eclectic team. Some good friends of mine, so let's say really eclectic team. But from a suppliers and hotels point of view, how do you see the future? How the industry can grow and take it to the next level?
Well, I mean, a big part of my job and my project is the data quality, together with even AI. I would like to say AI is great, but also I do sometimes get a bit worried when I get emails on a daily basis that I thought, this is not how this person speaks to me. Is this how we got to remember that we need to have the human touch. It's super important, and AI is supposed to help us and not do admin job, but maybe not swap it out. So I think that, but yeah, understanding the data, I think it's going to continue, and big data, whatever everyone want to call it. It's been going on forever, but I think getting more departments involved, like we're trying to do now, and like train them, explain, is where we should go. And yeah, invite AI as well, of course.
James, the role of the concierge, the front desk, has changed tremendously. Pre-COVID was already changing. COVID shook it to the ground to a certain extent. Clay Door is now on the social medias more than ever, I think. How you finding, what is the future for the entity as such? How do you see it yourself personally?
I mean, I could see that service does grow when you have even just a concierge, like in your hotel. And, I always think that's a difficulty with Scandinavia, in that labor costs are a lot, and someone says some bullshit, like, oh, we can't have the concierge, we don't have the role for that. Just designate someone a concierge. You don't even have to pay them extra, and just let them do that. Just do the task.
Let them be a concierge.
Let them be a concierge. They can still do reception, and just let them grow on their own, just organically, and maybe down the road you will have it. But it does help with having the guests come, because someone always wants someone to look after them. Not like their children, but they just want a little bit extra, attention. So it is a thing that you should all sort of think about having.
100% agreed. Andrea, from your point of view, obviously you guys have gone through many changes in the last few years. But for the future, how do you see the future of the hospitality tech space within your space? How do you see achieving the goals of what you guys are providing, the platform you're providing?
Yeah, we continue to develop. You know, we have had, for all of you that know Planet, we probably have had both tops and downs during our journey. It's been a huge challenge for us and a huge change from going from just 30 different kind of CRM system to one, and 10 different kind of support system to one. So what we have done now the last couple of years is to unify all those internal systems, and then side of that put in million to build out our new PMS cloud product with the integrated payment solution. So we are now trying to take back what we lost the few years and start to grow in the mid-market business.
Wow, very busy. Last question for all of you. Festive season is here, obviously, it's already arrived. The one key point in your specific roles and any advice that you can give anyone who's coming into the industry right now to do your jobs, what advice would you give them?
I feel like a broken record. Communication.
No, this is what we're here for.
Yeah. They do say you should repeat things 3 times for everyone to remember, but I do think involving multiple departments, like we talked about, commercial team planning something without actually talking to operations and stuff, like communicate, start early, involve people. Usually the best ideas come out when you have a mix of people and not the same people that always sit and think about new things. So I think that, yeah, that would be mine.
Yeah, communication for sure. I'm not going to roll on with that. You already just described it. The one thing that I really think is important is to multitask. So if you can just juggle 5, 6 balls at once, those people are the ones that will get everything done for you and make your life easier and everyone else's, because and timing. Timing is the other thing with the guests, that no one wants to wait and they want everything now.
Andreas, for the future, if someone was telling you, coming in, a college kid, a university kid, I want to join Planet, what the best advice you can give them?
No, be open for change, I would say. It's an exciting company, so yeah.
Perfect. Why did I go after this topic of communication? We have in the room suppliers, we have in the room hoteliers. I've sat on both sides. I was a hotelier for 16 years. I was in the supplier side. I've got one of my former managers hiding away on a phone over there somewhere when I was on the tech side. But one of the things that was all about communication, integrations and communication. We shouldn't limit ourselves. Bring people from other departments, as Sarah mentioned and James mentioned, and also bring that information to the suppliers so they can deliver the best jobs. And I think that's how you really unwrap a seamless guest experience. People react to what they know, not to what they don't know. It is a team sport. We rely on everyone to be able to deliver it, both from the inside and the outside. First of all, I would like to thank everyone. Previous panels, great panels at the start of the day. I'm sure we're going to have an exciting rest of the day. And thank you very much for attending today. Enjoy your lunches. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.